Okay, so I just got out of My Little Pony the movie, and 0 out of 10! No Rose luck! Fuck you, Hasbro! Review over! No, but seriously, here's what's going on. I did watch My Little Pony the movie, the 2017, because now we have two of them, and this is something that I'm thinking about experimenting with further. It's one thing that I've been thinking about for a while. Brad Jones over at Stone Gremlin Productions kind of gave me the idea, so this isn't my original thing because I'm not that smart. But if I do continue to do this, I'm going to need two things. Number one rule, and that is I'm only going to do cartoons because I'm not going to go to a goddamn theater every weekend. To hell with that. I do not like going to theaters. In fact, this is the first time in the year and change that I've been here that I've been in this theater, because I don't like theaters at all. One of my cardinal rules is I normally don't go to a film that I want to see until about 3 weeks out, because I want people away from me. I just don't deal with it. This is probably the first time in years. In fact, I remember the last time I went to a film opening night. It was the first of the new Planet of the Apes films that they started doing here recently. Yeah, that's the closest that I've, or that's the most recent, I should say, that I've gone to a movie theater opening night for a film. And I'll get into that more in a second. Number two, if I'm going to continue this, I am going to ask that you give me feedback whether or not this is something I should pursue to keep doing, because like I said, I'd like to add more stuff, but there's only so much I can do given what I do at the school that I teach at, the reviews, the riffs. Speaking of riffs, there's going to be one extra one this time in between reviews, because there are a little snafu issues, if you will, that is preventing me from doing production this time around. So sorry about that, but I do promise that there's going to be other stuff. Promise. So let's talk about My Little Pony the movie 2017. Okay, where to begin? How about I start with the art style? I don't know what exactly was the train of thought that was going along with this art style. It's this weird hybrid of CG, Flash, and hand-drawn. And I tried not to watch too many of the trailers beforehand because I kind of want to go into this cold. I just don't want to know. But the ponies look a little bit like marshmallows to me, and they sort of stick out, which isn't a bad thing. You want your characters to pop out of the background whenever you're watching animation. And so I don't know really how I feel about what this was like. And there are some spots in the movie that are really breathtaking with the art style. I'll give it that. They gave it a budget. That much I do know. It's not like when they did Equestria Girls and put that in the theater and it was just not even a notch above TV animation in their budget at the time. This at least looks like they kind of put some care and effort into it, so good on that. But like I said, the set pieces were pretty good. They really put a lot of care and effort in a lot of the design, which I did appreciate. But then there are parts in it where the ponies don't exactly mesh well with everything else. Like there's a couple characters in the movie that they interact with that don't look like they're part of another movie in comparison to what the ponies are in. So it's got this weird sort of thing going on with that. And along those same lines, it feels like a pony movie, if you can really characterize it that way. It's not the smooths, thank God. It's not that bad. So I guess I can go into story now. I try not to do too much in the way of spoiler stuff, even though I don't really care. I've never been a fan, or shouldn't say a fan, but I've never really cared about being spoiled about something. But I'll do my best not to do it. For some people, they get really sensitive, and I never understood that, but fine, whatever. Story, if you really want to think about it in a way, like how is it compared to what you see on TV? Basically, if you've seen the first 2 episodes of the first season, the first 2 episodes of the second season, the season finale of the second season, with a little bit of the King Sombra episodes, that's kind of what you're getting here. In fact, a lot of the issues, friendship issues and things like that happen in this movie are basically plots that have been rehashed from the television show. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just a different repackaging of those issues, which is fine. But story itself, solid. Nothing blew me away, really, in terms of what the story was. Basically, 10 minutes in, I sort of had a whole idea of what was going to happen. Couple things I really wish they developed more. Like the friendships they developed with the new characters would have been a little nicer if they got a little bit more in depth. But you can't really help that when you've got 15 fucking songs. Sometimes I do enjoy the Disney format with the musicals, but sometimes you force it, and that doesn't gel well with me. It's not World's Biggest Tea Party, like, forcing, but there are times when it's just, is this really warranted? And even the characters acknowledge that, like, this is no time for a song, but it's too fucking late. Speaking of characters, the new ones that they introduced have their moments. The cat, whatever, Capper, he's alright. The rest, not really all that cool with. The pirates are fine. Whoever they were, because I can't remember names for shit. But, this is one of the big issues that I've always had with movies that are cartoon television shows, is that they feel compelled to bring in famous people to do voice acting. And that's not a bad thing in and of itself, so well as you work within the talents of the people that you hire. For instance, Tempest is the villain pony in this, and Tempest has the one with the broken horn and such. And her voice acting is not great. She's voiced by Emily Blunt. I don't know if that's just Emily Blunt's style, but she's going for menacing and stoic, but it comes off more flat than stoic. Like, for instance, Ingrid, who plays Maud, does a better stoic, flat, monotone type person, or pony, than what Emily Blunt did for this, and so that one didn't really go very well for me, as well as the character who was voiced by Sia, what was her name? Songbird Sunrise, or some bullshit, because that's another thing that they like to throw around, and they get a little flowery with the names, and when you find out Tempest's real name, it's like a throwback to the 1980s line. But Sia did not. I'm glad she did not have a whole lot of lines, because she can't voice act for shit. She was obviously brought in to sing, which she can do, but yeah, the voice acting part, not that good at all. The regulars do their thing. That makes me happy. One thing that really bummed me out, it was the fact that Rose Luck was not in the goddamn movie. I got Daisy 3 times, so I got one of the flower girls, or flower ponies, but I didn't get the one I care about. And, every other horse is featured. If you can think of them, they were probably in it. I mean, Bulk Biceps is in this, the Lotus Twins are in this, Trixie's in this, Starlight Glimmer, for God's sake, is in this. I didn't need Rose Luck to say a damn line, but I would like to see her. But I guess that's probably a good thing in terms of my rage, because so I'm in the middle of bumfuck Tennessee. Not necessarily it's big enough to have its own AA team around here, but I went to the 9 o'clock show for this, and I was the only one in there up until about 5 minutes before the show, and then some mother brought her little girl in, and they sat in the back, probably murmured about who is this fucking weirdo up front. That's fine. It's not the first time it's happened to me, but yeah, that was that wasn't awkward at all. Mainly because I'm accustomed to it at this point with everything that I do, given the research work that I do. So yeah, like I say, the story wasn't overwhelming. It was pretty predictable. Nothing really jumped out. Voice acting had its moments. I mean, the voice actors for the regular cast is still pretty solid. The main villain, other than the main villain pony, he's I mean, he's a bit of a goofball. And that's the other thing with a lot of what goes on in the story. There are a lot of references to things that adults are gonna get, and not like dirty stuff, but like things that that's something that I remember when I was young. Like, there's one segment where I heard old modem dial-ups sounds. There was a Hungry Hungry Hippos reference. There was a Different Strokes reference, which, you know, This Is My Little Pony in the current generation, they're gonna do that. But some of it did feel a little forced, kind of like Pinkie Pie normally is, but she was actually a bit more practical this time, and they let her show a darker side of her, which was nice. But like I say, you gotta watch it, and like I said, a lot of the friendship issues, like I said earlier on, are present in this movie. I already talked about the art, already talked about the story, the plot, talked about the voice acting. Yeah, I mean, I hope this does well. One thing I'm glad they didn't go with was the 1987 Transformers route, although that would have been pretty interesting if, you know, you killed Applejack like they did Ironhide. But a man can dream. But I know reality. Hasbro doesn't want that from 30... Wow, that was 30 years ago. Yeah, they don't want to repeat a mistake from 30 years ago. But a couple of things like that would have been nice. But overall, solid. If you're a pony fan, yeah, go out and support it if you feel so inclined. It's worth the time. It's an hour and some change. It's not the longest thing. I mean, it didn't really feel like it dragged on, but I did feel that there were moments where, you know, the pace is a little too slow, like they could have picked it up a little bit, or, you know, maybe this part could have been taken out, or at least take it out and expand on other parts that I really wish they did. But overall, if I gave it a grade, for a pony fan, A-. There's a lot of things left to be desired that they could have really done something with. If you're not a pony fan, you just like animation, I mean, you can come in and watch it for the animation, because it's different. I'll give it that. I've not seen a style like this. It's different, but probably a B-. I mean, if ponies aren't really your thing, but if you like clever writing for the most part, this will be alright. But I mean, it's worth a matinee if you're not a pony fan, so yeah, B-. But if you're a brony or a big My Little Pony fan, yeah, it's worth it. It's an A. Couple other things. because like I said, if I'm gonna continue doing this, there's things I need to highlight, because there were some interesting things here at the very beginning of this movie, and so I got 2 trailers and a short. One is called Coco, which is a Disney Pixar joint, and it's coming out not Christmas, but Thanksgiving, which is kind of weird because it's about Dia de la Muerta, which is, you know, the Spanish Day of the Dead, and you're doing it 6 weeks after the fucking, not even 6 weeks, like 3 weeks after the fact. So it's kind of, Coco looks like it's going to be a different take on Book of Life, but it's more about music, because, you know, that's what Disney does best. It looks cute. The other one, which I really don't want to be a part of in any way, shape, or form, but like I say, if this becomes a thing, maybe it will. There's a movie coming out in spring called Duck, Duck, Goose. This looks like a fucking train wreck. First of all, it's about an irresponsible goose who just, you know, is a wanker. He just jacks around doing all sorts of... He's a dipshit. And he's voiced by Jim Gaffigan, which I like Jim Gaffigan's style, but I don't see it as a voice acting thing that he should be doing. And, like, one of the things that they had in the trailer, which sort of was like my sign for this is going to be bad, is they fall into a truck full of pigs, and the truck hits the brakes, and the pig's ass apparently slides towards the goose, and I guess the goose penetrates the pig's asshole with his beak. So, I mean, that's a level of comedy you're dealing with in this movie, so I already get the feeling it's going to be bad, and it's going to be a slow trudge through hell if I review it. The other thing that they had was a short. I've never heard of this before in my life, but then again, I'm not hip and with it with the kids, because clearly I'm sitting and watching My Little Pony, the movie, and then I am talking about it at 11:30 at night on a Friday night in bumfuck Tennessee. So go figure. There was a short called Hon Uzuki. It's a flash short. It was like 4 minutes max. I mean, the style was cute, and I like cute. Don't really know what they were really going for the whole thing. It kind of reminds me of something you might see off of cartoon Hangover. And it's okay. It kind of reminded me of Bee and Puppy Cat, if you've ever seen that. Only on the moon. Because, you know, cartoons, you can do that shit. But overall, like I said, if you're really into My Little Pony, yeah, go see it. You'll get a nice time out of it. A lot of references and stuff that they wedge in from the show are wedged in the movie. Voice acting from the celebrities could have been better. But, by and large, But, yeah, like I said, leave some comments, give me some feedback. Should I do this some more? I don't know, and honestly, still a 0 because you have no rose luck, and that just besmirches me that you left my waifu on the cutting room floors for all I know. So, fuck you, Hasbro. Other than that, I'll try to get more content out. Don't know. Don't really care. That's a lie. I try. And, next big thing will be the Halloween special, and I'll see you then. Bye.